going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another NU match. This is using the team that I had about a week or so back, but yeah, this is against Scout from Twitter. I think it was actually a dude, so I'll probably refer to him as a he, but yeah, so he's got a pretty interesting team. He has some mons that you don't really see a whole lot, including like Roselia. I'm assuming that's just for spikes. Then he's got like Chimecho and Wiggly, Bibarel. Overall, a really creative team there, so this should be a fun one. Anyway, I figure he's probably just going to want to lead off with that Aggron, so I toss out my Lego Dragon just to get up some rocks, as he does lead off with Optimus Prime over here. So this isn't too bad of a matchup for me. I can do a decent amount of damage with Earthquake, and he can't really hurt me too bad. So we're just going to exchange some Stealth Rock here, as per usual. Throw some Legos on his side of the field, because, you know, don't want to step on those things, as I decide to actually just go for the Dragon Tail here, expecting him to want to switch out, but he goes for Dragon Tail as well, and his goes first, which really does suck. He's going to get a little bit of rough skin, though, because he touches me, and that's no fun for him. But it is going to actually drag me into my Sneasel. He says, bless you, as I really don't have much to do to this Aggron, and I just took some Stealth Rock damage, which does suck. But I have to switch out again here. I really just hope he doesn't go for the Dragon Tail again, as I'm just going to switch into my Thick Toad, and he's just going to go right for the Heavy Slam, which is nice, because it's going to do less than half to me, which is cool. And this isn't too bad for me. I can just go for the Sleep Powder, as he's actually going to end up switching into his Roselia, which is a nice play, gonna block that Sleep Powder. And honestly, Eviolite Roselia is actually really good in NU. It sets up spikes, and I don't have a Rapid Spinner or a Defogger on this team, so that's going to be pretty unfortunate for me, as he's going to set up a layer of spikes here. I'm going to have to work around those hazards and kind of limit my switches, which sucks, but I do stay in here and just go right for the Synthesis. I do that because Venusaur does look really useful against his team, and I want this thing to have as much health as possible. So now that I'm back to full, I do want to switch out here, and I'm just going to go directly into my Typhlosion. I know that I can come in on the rocks and then just one layer of spikes, and then kind of just scare out this Roselia, as it sets up the second layer, which does really suck, but this is why you always bring a Rapid Spinner, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I'm just gonna go right for the Flamethrower. Seems like my safest option here, as he's gonna end up switching into the Wigglytuff, which is gonna take like no damage from this Flamethrower. Kind of shows me that it is gonna be Assault Vest, and these things are already pretty damn specially defensive anyway, so that does like absolutely nothing, and I do have to switch out my Typhlosion, which sucks. I just decided to go right back into my Venusaur here, as I know that I can take any attack this thing wants to throw at me, and then I can hit pretty hard with Sludge Bomb in return. He just decides to yell at me with the Hyper Voice. It's actually kind of funny seeing Wigglytuff's angry face. This is a pissed off pink fluff right there. But yeah, so I decided to just go right for the Sludge Bomb. I know that if he stays in, I can Synthesis all day, seeing as that Hyper Voice didn't do too much to me, but the Sludge Bomb is gonna almost knock this thing out. It gets it into red, and then I actually get the poison, which is nice, as it just goes for one more Hyper Voice on me, and that is gonna knock me down to red. And it's kind of unfortunate here that it actually dies to the poison, because that means that I can't Synthesis back up, and Venusaur is not looking too hot, seeing as I can't really switch back into some Stealth Rock and stuff like that. So now he brings in the Chimecho, which is something I haven't seen in a long ass time. You'll Floating Toothpick over here. I do decide to switch to kind of just save Venusaur as death fodder later, as I'm just going to go right into my Sneasel here. I take a bunch from the hazards, which does suck. I only really get like one more switch in, and this thing actually just decides to go for the Z Crystal. This kind of scares me, as I don't really know what this thing's going to go for, but I predicted the Psychic move, and he does actually go for that, so it's not going to affect me since I'm Dark type, and I'm actually just going to go right for the Pursuit, expecting him to switch out, but it stays in and sets up a Wish, which is pretty much the only thing that these Chimechos do. Honestly, I gotta use another one of these things. It's been forever since I've used one, but one more Pursuit is gonna take care of that thing, which is really nice, because now I don't have to worry about Wish support, and yeah, that's a dead Chimecho there. So now he brings in the Aggron. Unfortunately, Sneasel is looking pretty useless at this point. I'm gonna actually end up switching out here, as I go right into my Venusaur again, basically just to come in and die, so that way I can have a free revenge switch into anything I'd like. So I die from the spikes, which does suck. Venusaur was looking really useful against stuff like the Mudsdale on his team, but I didn't play that Venusaur too well. But yeah, so this does allow me a free switch into whatever, and I decided to go into Fireball, who is just getting destroyed by the hazards, and I'm just going to go right for the Flamethrower to play it safe here. He actually ends up switching into the Bibarel. I probably should have gone for the Focus Blast, but I kind of just really didn't not want to risk a miss there, because I always freaking Focus miss. So yeah, the Flamethrower is going to do a decent chunk of damage to this thing, as it actually ends up eating a berry, and this turns out to be a Moody Bibarel. As you'll see here, I believe Moody is actually banned in Smogon singles, but not too big of a deal here, as it raises one random stat and then lowers another, so it's not not too, I mean, it can work in your favor if you get pretty lucky, but I go for one more flamethrower as this thing tries to set up a substitute. Not enough health, unfortunately, as it's going to get a boost in evasiveness, and then it lowers its special attack, which is honestly just kind of funny. Moody Bibarel is not something I've ever seen, and it really kind of just caught me off guard, but it goes for a protect now just to kind of scout out another turn of Moody, I assume. I'm trying to get like some speed boost. Honestly, I don't really know, but it's just raising in, lowering in some random stats over here, and not really a whole lot this thing can do other than just try to go for another protect, which isn't going to save him, as he's just staying in and just being more moody. Honestly, this is the moodiest Bibarel I've ever seen. You can't keep track of this thing's emotions, but it just goes for another protect here. What's up with all the damn protects lately? It's all over the place. This flamethrower is just not doing a damn thing, but it looks like he can't go for a protect one more time, and he's not going to be fast enough because I am Choice Scarf. So I will be able to outspeed, and a flamethrower is going to take care of this thing as he just goes for one more random protect just to go for something before he dies. But that's a dead angry beaver, and yeah, so luckily that thing didn't have really too much play on this battle. So anyway, he's now going to switch into his Mudsdale, and I really do have to leave Typhlosion in here to get as much damage as possible. I can't come back into the hazard, so I just stay in and go for another flamethrower. It is going to knock this thing down to about half, which is perfect because I really need to whittle this thing down. Seeing as my team just really does not deal with Mudsdale almost like really at all. So I get half damage on that thing, which is nice, and then he's able to finish me off with an Earthquake. I did give it a stamina boost there, but I do still have like only one more special attacker on my team, which I am going to need to use against this Mudsdale. So I decided to bring him in right now. It is going to be my Game Boy Luke the Rotom, as I'm actually just going to go right for a Shadow Ball, try to get as much damage as possible. Maybe just a special defense drop or something. I'm going to need it, but I do actually end up getting the special defense drop, which is amazing. Honestly, I never end up getting that when I need it, but it happens there, and unfortunately this turns out to be a Rest Sleep Talk Mudsdale, so that could not have gone any worse, as now he's going to go ahead and put himself to sleep and then gets all of his health back, which really does suck. So I know that he is probably going to want to have to switch out here because of that special defense drop, as he's just going to bring in that Roselia, and it is going to be a 2-hit KO after the Stealth Rock, so that is at least pretty nice. But Rotom is pretty much my only chance against that Mudsdale. I get a critical hit on the first Shadow Ball there. I don't know if that mattered. I think it would have still been a 2-hit KO, but I go for one more, and that is going to take care of the Roselia. So this thing did do its job, though, in setting up the hazards. The spikes are just really kind of killing me. Getting hurt over here by some Life Orb, as now he's going to bring in the Aggron. And here, I really don't have any play. I decided to actually just stay in. I really should have switched, conserving my Rotom against that Mudsdale. It's really kind of my only hope, but I stayed in and went for a Thunderbolt to get as much damage as possible, and this allows him to finish me off with a Stone Edge. So that's kind of a misplay on my end. I really just should have switched directly into Druddigon from the start, but I stayed in and just tried to get damage on this thing, because honestly, I don't have a whole lot that can hurt this freaking Aggron either. His two remaining Pokemon are two just very defensive mons that I don't have a whole lot of offensive power against. I do still have an Ambipom that's full health from the end of my team, but that's not going to help me too much here, as I just go for an Earthquake. It is going to take care of the Aggron, and at least that thing's gone. So it's kind of just the world against this damn Mudsdale, and I have 3 Pokemon left. There is a chance that I could do it depending on kind of how lucky he gets on his Sleep Talks and stuff, but yeah, so he brings in the Sleep in Mudsdale, gets hurt by a little bit of Stealth Rock, and it all comes down to this. I go for the Glare first turn because I didn't want to give this thing a stamina boost right away, so I just went for that Glare just to kind of play it safe, as the Sleep Talk here is going to get a Roar, which is terrible news because that's going to switch Druddigon out, and it's going to bring in my Sneasel, who does die to those freaking hazards. So Sneasel really didn't get to do a whole lot in this battle. It would have been really useful against that Mudsdale had I been able to come in freely with no hazards. A freaking Icicle Crash does still hurt this thing quite a bit with the Choice Band. So that kind of sucks. At this point, really all I can do is just bring in my freaking Ambipom, gets destroyed by those hazards, and I'm just going to go right for the knockoff. Rather than fake out, it's not going to do much. It's just going to give this thing more stamina. So I go for the knockoff just to get rid of its leftovers and just kind of hope that it just gets a rest with this Sleep Talk. So he does go for the Sleep Talk, and it actually ends up getting a Roar again, which is terrible because this is just working perfectly for him with those hazards and the Roar combo. It's just going to bring in Lego, who was chilling at 69 HP, but not for long, as really all I can do at this point is try to just kind of get some critical hits and just hope for the best, as this Mudsdale was pretty well played. I just do not have anything for this thing. I did know it from the start, but I should have conserved something on my team specifically for this thing. It's just kind of bad team awareness, but he's gonna get some more stamina there with the Earthquake. He does wake up, and he's just gonna go for another Roar, pretty much just screaming at me this whole battle, sending me sending me all fucking willy-nilly just into random shit. As Facepalm comes out, the Druddigon is gonna die to the hazards, and really the only thing I can do at this point is just go for a fake out along with a return combo and try to get just, you know, as much damage as possible. But this thing has so much stamina at this point, it's really just, it's not even gonna freaking scratch this thing. So Ambipom goes for one last ditch effort. Unfortunately, I don't get the super ultra mega crit, and it is gonna live that, and this allows him to go for an earthquake to finish me off. So all I can do at this point is bring in my Druddigon to die to the hazards, and that is gonna be the end of the match there. So that was a well played Mudsdale. Honestly, these things are pretty damn frustrating to play against if you don't have any special attackers left, but still a really fun game, and I had a good time playing it. So go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, and as always, don't forget to subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. Peace out, guys.